All right, everybody, welcome back to another unboxing, and this time we are going to be unboxing a KD Collectibles diorama, my first diorama, and this one is Vegito versus Boo. Let's check it out. All right, so just opened up the brown box, and off the bat, this is what I love about KD Collectibles packaging. You get this nice, just incredible artwork, right? I saw the same thing for the Vegeta here and the Goku. I didn't do an unboxing for that since those were previously displayed already. But this one I got brand new, and so I did want to record the unboxing for this. But wow, I love the attention to the detail in terms of packaging, and you can tell that even like if you were to take this thing apart and display the box like that, even that would be amazing, right? So I super love this. Let's get to unboxing. Okay, side note before we open this up, I did notice that this box had these little corner covers here, which I thought was a very, very cool addition because it basically, you know, saves the corner edges of your box in case you did want to do what I mentioned, which is display it. I thought that was a really cool addition. Great way to kind of preserve the quality of the box. But with that said, let's go ahead and open this up. I went ahead and took out the corner covers, and this is what you get. You have the artwork that's attached to the box, and you also have your certificate. Let's open this out. Now this is amazing. Check this out. You've got the print that it comes with, and they included this awesome instruction manual that basically tells you how to put the statue together. And I just think that this is really a nice touch to the unboxing experience. For those of you guys that saw my last sleep unboxing, that was so hectic to put together, but I finally got it done, and I'm so glad that for something like this they make it super easy to let you know that you are putting the parts and pieces in the right place. And also, let's go ahead and get this out of the way and jump to my favorite part about KD Collectibles packaging is the fact that it opens up right from the brown box. You can flip this side over and basically access the parts and take out the styrofoam without having to lift the entire box out of the brown box. I super love that. It's super convenient. And it, you know, if in the later on I wanted to look at the art box, I can do so without having to go through the hassle of picking up the whole thing and then struggling to take out the box because it has all the parts inside. This way I can take all the important pieces out, and maybe later I'll check out the rest of the art box. But I love this part. Let's go ahead and jump into taking the styrofoam up. Okay, so when you take the top styro off, you do get a look at all the parts. So it looks like we've got, I think this is Boo's head. And look at that, it's packaged so well. The ghost, I think, is over here. A couple ghosts there. This looks like Vegito's head, or at least the yellow Super Saiyan head, and his body. So I know the base is probably under this. It's gonna go right over there next to Gogeta. So I think what I need to do is take this part out first. I wonder if I can do that without taking out all the parts one by one. So let me see if I can lift the styro properly, and then we'll get started with the base. All right, so it does look possible. I was able to take out the first layer of the styrofoam properly without having to take out all the parts and expose and access the second layer of styrofoam, which definitely looks like it is packed very well. You've got this huge base. I didn't understand how big this was until I just opened it now, but I thought that base was big. It feels like this one is crazy massive. I was talking about the Gogeta base. Like that one, when I first opened it up, it was quite the sight. I said that thing, like, speechless in terms of just how big it was, but this one, definitely massive. So let's hope it fits where I planned for it to be, but let's go ahead and break this part down. All right, so here is the base out of here, and this thing is massive. I like how they have these little styrofoam tips just to make sure that nothing breaks during shipping. And outside of that, we can now take a look at all the other existing parts that are in the second layer. It has the logo here. This, I think I saw, here it is. You got your acrylic case for your card. It looks like Boo's arm. There's his main body. That thing is huge. And what else we got? A couple extra parts. I think the adapter's in here somewhere. But I have been looking at the instruction, and I think what I'm gonna do is, it doesn't really say it here, but it does look like the logo is already on there. So I wanna put the logo on first, just because it's gonna help me understand what part of the base I'm looking at, and we'll see how we go from there. All right, so I just finished putting in BUUH's main body in here, and I gotta say that this was a bit of a challenge, just because BUUH is so heavy. It feels like a workout every time you're doing it. And I found out that the best way for me to align the peg here with the hole in BUUH is to kind of take it from the back. That way you can sort of see the hole. Now, maybe some of you guys who have this statue found a better way, easier way to do it, but this was the easiest way for me. It did come with a bit of challenge in the fact that this right here had a bit of a STYRO tip, which comes with it, and even the instructions say here that, what's it say? Hole with 2 hands lining up with the pole. Oh, it's actually this part right here. It says, place a piece of cloth around the large transparent circle so that it can protect the resin on the next step. And that definitely did, for the most part. It does look like I suffered a bit of a chip here, maybe right around here. But I don't even know if it's that noticeable. It's very minimal from from standing out, but it was just hard to avoid. And I didn't even take this part off. Like, it was pretty much, it stayed on the entire time. But when you do line up the hole properly, I will say that BUUH slides in quite seamlessly. You really don't have to force it, but it is a bit of a workout trying to align his body with the rod in the base. Hopefully, I think from here, everything else should be pretty simple in terms of attachment, but I suggest you probably want to set it up like this from the back, put the pole on, and then, you know, like what I'll do is I'll fix the posture on the base. But that was the body. Okay, second main body done. There was a good instruction here which basically told you that obviously you want to line up the face and the foot. There's basically a hole with a peg here from Vegito's foot, and then a peg in this foot that lines up with the hole here. I would say that the easiest way to install this, or the way I did it, it took me a couple tries, but I will say it was an easier process than the main body of BUUH, mainly because Vegito's not as heavy, so I didn't have to take as many breaks. But the secret, or at least the way I did it, was slowly lining up the hole here, since this is basically the one you really can't see, while at the same time protecting the edge of this hole here, or sorry, the peg that comes from the foot, making sure that you're not scratching any part of BUUH's face here. So by lining this leg up and then shooting this, it just made it a lot easier for me. Also, I noticed that I still had my wedding ring on, and typically I don't take it off, but I was like, oh, you know, let me make sure I don't chip up any parts of the piece. So hopefully that helps for some of you guys that are putting this together. Again, line this up a little bit while protecting the edge of the rod, and then slowly line up with the face, and it should snugly fit right in. Cool. Okay, so the next step is to attach the head. I am going with the Super Saiyan head because that is what is on the art, and so I do want to make sure that that is the one that I display. Now, the one thing it tells you here is it has earrings, so you want to attach that first. Those earrings come from this little tiny slot over here, okay? Now, one thing that it does say is the earrings have a little bit of a flex. Unfortunately, I flexed it too much, and yeah, that's what happened. So it's not super flexible, but you know, just enough of a give. You don't want to overdo it. The nice thing was, I think KD assumed this is what might happen, so it actually gives you a whole set of extra earrings just in case. It's actually, I thought it was just going to be 4, you know, 2 for each head, but you actually get, let me count this off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even another extra set. So that is super convenient and very nice of KD to think about. I will say that it is not the easiest thing to kind of put on in terms of making sure that you do it properly. I did do a better job with the second ear here, but I don't know if you'll notice it, but you see there's a bit of a chip in the paint of the ear there. I don't know if that's something you can avoid. Again, if you spread it too much, the earring, it'll come off like it did there. But if you just try to drive the earring on, you might end up chipping it. So I guess the trick is just finding a good balance of giving enough give on the earring while at the same time protecting the paint. But anyway, I'm not so bummed out about the chip because that's basically where the earring goes. You're not really going to notice it that well. In fact, you're just really going to notice the sculpt and the amazing look that he's given. So let's go ahead and attach this and move on to the rest of the assembly. All right, fast forward and we are done. Check this out. Oh, looks so good, man. The assembly was a lot easier, to be honest, than this Gogeta statue that I put up a couple weeks ago. You know, the only tricky part really was Boo, because he was so heavy, and maybe the transition of putting Vegito's legs right here and into Boo's face, which was mentioned in the manual, but you know, I have to say overall it was a very smooth assembly. So let's jump into some details and check out the statue. Woo! Check this out. Oh my goodness. This is one of those statues that, you know, it's really hard to just understand how good it is from a render or even a picture online. It's massive, first of all. I mean, look, here's a comparison. I don't know if you can tell. This is supposed to be 1/4 scale, I think. But Vegito's a lot bigger. Well, not a lot bigger, but, you know, he is quite hefty in terms of size. So he's got a good size to him, which makes this piece overall just massive. In terms of assembly, I had a really smooth time with putting the pieces together. I super love this manual that KD Collectibles gave us. I mean, I'm actually new to statue collecting, maybe just a couple weeks in. I already picked up these two pieces and these two, KDC and this one. Obviously, these ones, at least when I got them, they didn't have any instruction manuals. This one was secondhand. So it was just kind of by guessing and putting the pieces together. This one did not have a manual, and I would say it was a bit more stressful. Not really the main pieces, but just the shards and sort of where they go. But the only thing about this piece was just how heavy Boo is when you really have to align him to the peg. But once he's in there, it slots in really well. So shout out to KD Collectibles for this awesome instruction manual. All right, so let's jump into the piece a little bit more. Actually, here is what the collectible comes with. You've got this awesome acrylic case that houses the card. Looks like I got 427 out of, I think the number is stated on this metal plate. 427 out of 450. There it is. The metal plate is a great addition. I know they didn't have to do that, but it goes a long way, I think, to when you're collecting these things. And I super love the art prints. This and also what's on the box. This is crazy, the amount of value you get out of this thing. And just in terms of value, I mean, look at the fact that you get this, and that's Vegito, the character that you're looking for. Now, this is a last sleeve, and you get Gogeta, and you get a cool looking base. Your base here is a whole nother character, pretty much. It's crazy. And it's even got these little ghosts of Boo. You know, obviously they didn't have to do that. They could have said, you know, just giving you BUUHAN is enough. And instead they did opt to give us these extra guys, which I just think adds a lot to the statue piece itself. And look at this part right here. Look, that is the spit detail that they added. It's incredible. You know, they really didn't have to do that. I think you probably would have gotten the whole effect that you were looking for with the foot and the face being, you know, pummeled like that. But I think the spit just adds a little bit more, you know, subtle details to the piece. I like how the Boo guys here, the ghost Boos, they're this smooth sort of glossy type of paint, as opposed to BUUHAN over here, which is a bit more, I think you'd probably call it a matte finish. texture here on the gi itself and also on the pants, which is pretty similar to what Vegito has going on here. He's got a little bit of texture here, not so much, but just enough. But just, I think the best part about this is the sculpt. Just like even in the face, I think a lot of studios, and again, I am new to statue collecting, but a lot of the studios kind of go through the whole motion of giving you a super crazy pose and, you know, really drum up all the bases and make it incredible to look at, you know, from the start. But it's these little details that I think really push the edge of quality in terms of what you're looking for. So, well, at least for my taste, I just really like what they did here. Check it out. Oh, also, let's not forget, this does have a light up feature. So it does come with this power adapter here and a USB cable. For now, I was too lazy to plug it into my outlet over there, so I just plugged it into my laptop, and it does come with a switch here. So it's right here in the back. I don't know if we can see that, but I'm just gonna hit that switch and, oh my goodness. Oh, it's so sick. Look at that. Let's put the lights off. There you go. The full effect. That is amazing. And look, it lights up the entire base. You know, my wife was looking at this and she has saw the Gogeta light up before. And she said, wow, as soon as I lit this up, she just said, I like how the whole base just lights up. It just highlights the figure even more. And she definitely said that this is probably more of her favorite than the last sleep, which isn't, you know, obviously it's a preference thing, but it's great that, you know, even for somebody who doesn't collect or doesn't know much about statues, she said that she liked this one the best, and I have to agree. Okay, so I do feel like I should explain why I decided to go with this piece. Like, why Vegito, why Boo, you know, and why a diorama? To be honest, getting into this thing, at least into statue collecting, I told myself that I was gonna stay away from dioramas just because if I collect one diorama, I'm gonna feel like I should collect more, and I wanna stick to just one solid piece of a specific character. Ergo, we've got Vegeta there, Goku, Broly in the back, and Gogeta. Now, what convinced me to get this? It was because I was looking for a solid Vegito piece, statue piece, even just a solo piece, and I couldn't find anything on the market. I'm sure there's maybe, you know, I'm new to it, so there might be a couple other statues out there that are really good, but I couldn't find one with a really good sculpt. So I said, okay, well, this Vegito has the best sculpt, but it's a diorama. Do I want all of that? And I thought to myself, what am I thinking, right? Like, one, I've always really wanted a Vegito piece that looked really good in a dynamic pose. And with this, I get not just that, but an extra character, which is Boo. And I thought to myself, okay, well, do I want to collect a separate villain BUUHAN that just dedicated to him? And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So, you know, this was a good opportunity to kind of get two birds with one stone, right? You get a nice Vegito piece and you get a villain that maybe in the future I might not opt to get a separate villain piece just for BUUHAN when I already have him here. So that saves me a couple bucks in the long run, but at the same time, it's just an epic pose. So Vegito, number one. Number two, we get a villain without having to spend for another extra villain. But number three, I think most of all, this is what I love about KD collectible statues, is they're a nice throwback to the anime. And before I got into statue collecting, I mean, I was collecting a lot of vintage figures of Dragon Ball just because of nostalgia. Actually, let me show you really quickly what that collection looks like. Okay, so from this part of the room, which is where the statues are, obviously this is sort of my new collection, and I had no plans to get statues in the beginning, and it has slowly filled up quite fast. But on this side of the room, there are all of my vintage figures. So I do collect the Dragon Ball Super Battle Collection, along with a couple old releases. Oh, there's the Vegito bust over there. But yeah, I need to organize this a little bit. I collect everything from the Super Battle Collection, bootlegs, different sizes, different shapes, Even got a couple customs down here. So these are bootlegs. I just kind of custom made the boxes over there, but you get the idea. I super love nostalgia and sort of what Dragon Ball, you know, did for me as a kid. Just looking forward to watching the shows all the time. And on this side, you've got more customs over here. You can probably tell Trunks is one of my favorite characters. You're probably going to see a lot more Trunks statues in the near future. I will do an unboxing there, but that's just a quick rundown. These are also bootlegs as well. So anyway, yeah, these are modern gashapons. Don't worry about that. I just like them because they have this like sort of vintage looking feel to them. But yeah, that is a quick tour of the figures that I have. And I hope that kind of explains why I went with this piece. I mean, again, I collect vintage Dragon Ball because of what it reminds me. And this is, again, what I love about KD Collectibles. You've got statues like this one from Last Sleep, which is concept driven and maybe really nice to look at, has a big wow factor right when you look at it. But it's just a lot different when you can recall certain sequences and scenes from the movie or the show. And that's what a lot of KD statues does for me. This one in particular was huge, and not just like literally, but just in terms of what it reminds me of. So I had to go for this one, and I am so happy that I did. Again, the pictures do not do justice to just how massive this piece is. It's one of those pieces that it'll probably stay there for a little while until you decide to move it. It's not easily movable. I kind of don't want to take it apart, so it'll probably just stay here, and we'll see if I can get a case for it as well. But that is a quick rundown of the statue. Okay, quick side note, I do want to mention that while I was putting this together, obviously there was an instruction where you want to put the head, and it's upper body here, and slide it right here in his I guess neckline, and I don't know if it's supposed to kind of have this seam line. I didn't want to force it. It felt like it locked in place. To me, it's not really a big deal. I know for some people, they don't like to have this sort of gap here, but it's not a big deal to me, especially if that's the way it was originally designed. So a big question to those of you watching this that have this statue, please let me know in the comments if this is a normal thing or if you think I should try to push this in. I don't want to force anything. So if it's not supposed to go in all the way, I'm perfectly fine with the way this is. It's not really that big a deal, but it is there. So if you do happen to have this piece, please let me know if I did this right or if there is still more leeway to be had when slotting this guy in. But again, not a big deal. Still really like the way it's put together. Oh, also, okay, so one thing that maybe could be a recommendation, I wouldn't say it is necessary, but the light switch here obviously is, I showed you guys earlier, a push switch button. I like it. It's very simple. Probably it is the way it is with a push button switch so that the LEDs are less complicated and easier to execute. It would have been cool to maybe include kind of what Gogeta has over here, which is a remote switch. I don't have him plugged in at the moment, but basically I can turn on that light without having to reach around. And for somebody like me who likes to put, you know, his statues in these cases because I just don't want to deal with dusting them, I'm able to turn the light on without having to take out the whole thing and reach in and push the switch. So that is really convenient. Again, not necessary. Obviously, the LEDs as they are is really cool, but I guess that's one thing you guys should know if you do plan on picking up this piece is you will need to push button the LEDs here for it to work. Again, I think that isn't really important for everybody, and I think even a lot of collectors probably don't hit the LED switch because, you know, obviously they want to save it from wear and tear, and at least, you know, you can also save yourself the resale value if you're able to keep its LEDs intact. So just one thing to think about. Now again, I got this piece from a retailer here in the Philippines called Great Cai Toys. Once again, Great Cai Toys, thank you so much for the support, for handling the processes in terms of getting this piece super smoothly. Big shout out to you guys for for those of you that are in the Philippines, I highly recommend Great Cai Toys. And for those of you that are out of the Philippines, I guess to give you some insight on how much this cost, here in the Philippines, it cost me around 61,500 pesos. That's at the pre-order price. If you get it after the pre-order, it goes up by about 2,000 pesos, and that's basically a difference of 40 US bucks. So I got this for about 1,100 USD shipped in terms of arriving to my house. Again, I picked it up at the warehouse, but 1,100 is really all in what I got for this, which I would say, again, you know, you look at all these other studios that are charging really high prices for one single item or one single figure, and here you get two incredible ones and LED lights and a whole other character as a base. Crazy. Okay, so before we wrap up, I did say that I wanted to give you guys a good look at the box once I had taken everything out of the box and assembled it. So this is the box that you're gonna get. You get this beautiful artwork you guys saw earlier. One thing you didn't get to see, which is super crazy also, is look at the artwork they also have going on here. So it does look like you've got Boo, and in this case, it looks like he's taking it head on right in the face. That is super cool. On the other side here, you've got the KD Collectibles logo. Also on this side, and I believe here as well, with a little bit of limited edition. And what else do we got here? It says design by Macon, Andrade, and KD Collectibles, sculpt by Macon. That's super cool. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of what the piece looks like. Amazing. All right, so one thing I have mentioned that I super like about KD Collectibles, and I don't know if this is something that's normal, if other studios do it, or if people are already aware of how they package their collectibles, but I just love how it is top loaded, meaning I can do what I just did, which is keep the box and the styro all in the brown box, and then unpack, get the statues out, and then comfortably, you know, get the box out. And I don't have to struggle with lifting and pulling the whole thing out before I get started. So I super appreciate that KD did that. It's a small thing, but you know, I just think the more that you can make a collector's life easier by making the assembly much faster, it makes it more fun, and you get to enjoy the process a bit more, which I totally, definitely did. And again, this manual that they did here, top notch. Top notch. All right, everybody, I think that will do it for today's unboxing. I had so much fun doing this, and I guess the verdict of the day is, do I recommend this statue? Highly, highly, highly do. This thing is well worth the money if, you know, you plan to get a character, and especially if you just want to get a Vegito character that just looks really good in a great pose with an extra character and a villain in it. Make your money's worth. This is it. So, big ups to KD Collectibles on this statue of the year, I'd say. Maybe. Definitely. Definitely. Just engineering-wise and how they put this together, big ups to you guys. Okay, so with that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I know this format's a bit raw, but you know, in terms of just being handheld and me here, sitting here talking, I don't have any super fancy editing sequences, but I thank you guys for watching. I hopefully gives you a good insight into what you're getting if you are getting this piece. Hopefully the assembly parts of the video where it's just super raw, me trying to figure it out, also helps you guys as well. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. Please feel free to subscribe and check out some of my other reviews on statues. I will probably have a few more statue unboxings coming up since I'm very new to this and I'm really liking the hobby. But thank you guys again, and please stick around for a couple more close-ups of the statue. Until then, peace out!
Walking, feeling like the villain. Bad guy now, what a feeling. Want me to lose, no kidding. Red jacket, so thrilling. Yeah, I got the gray clouds when I'm coming around. Yeah, even when the sun is out. Unannounced, 100,000 thunder clouds. Crowd loud, the clap sound like 100 rounds. Pop, 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 that's a packed house. Yeah, pop, pop, pop. That's how that sounds. Line going down the block where Brad Brown pull up in a map made back and it's blacked out. Batmobile, the Joker is driving this. I'm at your heels, no can't hide from this. And that won't heal, I hope you surviving this. I guess I'm still the bad guy like Billie Eilish is. One time for the punks and the losers, 2 times for the ones we neglected, 3 times for the cuts and the bruises, 4th time came back with a vengeance. Walking feeling like the villain, ay. Bad guy now, what a feeling, ay. Want me to lose, no kidding. Red jacket, so thrilling.
Okay, I walk in feeling like the villain. They gon' get to talking when I'm done, I can feel it. When they go low, she go to the ceiling. Like all my coins, how they rose to the millions. Yeah, I be setting the deal, setting amounts, these Maleficent bills. It's working out how I'm treading the mills. With hella records to build, I grab the bag, then I mag. Black and white Cadillac crew, well in the bill, it go boom. They don't even know I don't roll with a crew. Queen make us know what the flows that she do. I got to crunch them all, so if I shout fall, like magic was involved. If I use my temper, you lose your head. I like the room like Bender, Azula bread. Do stay jealous of who Lexus isn't. Even if you choose to hoot too soon, you'll lose your rent.
1 time for the punks and the losers, 2 times for the ones we neglected, 3 times for the cuts and the bruises, 4th time came back with a vengeance. Walking feeling like a villain, ay. Bad guy now, what a feeling, ay. Want me to lose, no kidding. Red jacket, so thrilling. Walking feeling like the villain, bad guy now, what a feeling. Want me to lose, no kidding. Red jacket, so thrilling. Yeah, I got the gray clouds when I'm coming around. Yeah, even when the sun is out. Unannounced, 100,000 thunder clouds. Crowd loud, the clap sound like 100 rounds. Pop, 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 that's a packed house. Yeah, pop, 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 that's how that sounds. Line going down the block where Brad Brown pull up in a map made back and it's blacked out. Batmobile, the Joker is driving this. I'm at your heels, no can't hide from this. And that won't heal, I hope you surviving this. I guess I'm still the bad guy like Billie Eilish is. 1 time for the punks and the losers, 2 times for the ones we neglected, 3 times for the cuts and the bruises, 4th time came back with a vengeance. Walking feeling like the villain, ay. Bad guy now, what a feeling, ay. Want me to lose, no kidding. Red jacket, so thrilling.
Okay, I walk in feeling like the villain. They gon' get to talking when I'm done, I can feel it. When they go low, she go to the ceiling. Like all my coins, how they rose to the millions. Yeah, I be setting the deal, setting amounts, these Maleficent bills. It's working out how I'm treading the mills. With hella records to build, I grab the bag, then I mag. Black and white Cadillac crew, well in the bill, it go boom. They don't even know I don't roll with a crew. Queen make us know what the flows that she do.